Hi, I'm Roger, and today I've got a new drill press called the Performax. It's a brand name sold by Menards, if you have one of those around your area. And I'm going to do a little bit of an unboxing and review of it. What I have sitting right here is a drill press that I bought in, well, it says manufacturing date of 1997. I know I've had it a long time. It's not much, it's real small. I don't really have a use for a drill press very often. If I do need precision or something bigger, I have a neighbor that has a drill press. I have my son-in-law has a very large floor model that's highly precise. He owns a shop. So if I need something precise or powerful, I can use that. For the little things I do around here, I don't need anything real powerful, but this one here is highly underpowered. It does work, it works okay, it's by no means accurate. I'll turn this around here so we can see it. You'll see right here, this isn't even straight, and you know, it's not smooth at all going down through here. There's a lot of play in the chuck all over the place, so it's not for anything precision. I don't need highly precise work for what I do most of the time. Like I said, if I do need to do something precise, I'll probably go use my son-in-law's drill press. But this was on sale today, $129.95. As I say, you can save big money at Menards. So we're going to unbox it and see what it's like. As you can see, that little one there weighed about nothing. Let's unbox this and find out if we got to do any assembly or not. It says it has a crosshair laser guide. It says it ensures accuracy. Well, we'll see about that. Yeah, looks like some assembly is going to be required. This is an owner's manual, of course. Cast iron base, probably weighs 10 pounds. A little rust protection here. There's a table. That probably weighs another good 10 pounds. Then we got a whole bunch of small parts here that we'll get into in a minute. Looks like there's going to be a lot of assembly required by the looks of things here. I'm sure this is made in China as well. Said I didn't need anything real expensive. There's the shaft. This part here weighs quite a bit. Get rid of the box. Okay, it's upside down here at 4.1 amps. I'll have to do a little bit of ciphering, but I can tell you what the horsepower is here. It's 755 watts to a horsepower. That looks like you need to do a little bit of assembly here. Nuts and bolts, wrench. Now, I'm not going to bore you here with me putting this thing together. It's pretty straightforward. You bolt this onto the base, and you slide the table on, you put the top on, you set the set screws. I'll do all the basic stuff, and then I'll be back. Okay, I hadn't intended on shooting any video of putting this together because it should be pretty well straightforward, but if I run into any problems or find any little oddities, I will point them out, and I found one right off the get-go here. This is the base right here, and this is a worm gear and shaft, and this needs to go in this little hole right here, which then engages another gear inside, which enables you to run the rack up and down. The first problem I found was when this was manufactured, I suppose there's some type of machine that just punches this out of the manufacturing process. When I first put this in, I noticed it was a catch as I would turn it with my fingers. Pulled it back out and looked, and it was a little ding on the side right here. I don't know if that can be seen or not. It's right there. I had to take a little file and file that burr off of there. I still haven't quite got it all off. But we get rid of that little burr. Okay, the next thing I noticed was, as this goes through the hole in the side of the casting here, besides catching it on that little burr, if I push it in enough so that it would miss the other gear, I noticed it wasn't turning very smooth. Pulled it back out and looked, but when this was painted, this hole was not masked off, so there was a lot of paint inside it. I took a little half round file right here and just got the paint out of there. So now when this is put in, see what I'm doing here. Now it turns nice and smooth, so just thought I would point that out. If we're running any other problems with the assembly, I'll definitely be pointing them out. Okay, so how accurate is this? Is this exactly 90 degrees? The saw table is definitely flat. So my Wixie angle gauge here, we'll set it here, turn it on, zero it. Zoom in on that a little. So we're zero there. What are we going to be here? 89.9. Hopefully that'll focus in. So, well, for what this is, that's acceptable. So I'll get moving on to the next part of the assembly here. I just thought I'd show this. Okay, another thing I want to point out here, now once you get this on, assembled, and you get that on, you get your crank handle on, and that works pretty smooth. When you put this top collar on up here, one side has a bevel in it, which meets up with the rack shaft here. You want to make sure you don't get this down too tight. You want to make sure this is level and square on there so you can rotate the table. There's times when you may want to rotate the table out of the way. If you get this down too tight, you don't get it straight, it'll bind up as you try to turn it. So just a little something to point out there. And we'll move on. Okay, got the head mounted on here, and want to point something out, and this comes from the School of Hard Knocks. As you screw your handle pieces in, or your knobs in, don't be cranking on the knobs to try to get that tight. I was putting something together once and doing something similar, and just cranking on the knobs, trying to get the shaft tight in here, ended up breaking the knobs. Get yourself an 8mm wrench. It's a little flat on there. And just give it a little snug up that way. Well, the flats aren't machined real well there. So I got 8mm on two of them and a 9mm on the other one. But anyway, that disappointed there so you don't break the end out of your knob down here. Otherwise, the next thing to do is to put the chuck on. Get it out of the box. Something else you'll want is quite a few shop rags around, because everything is extremely oily. I'll get everything cleaned up here with some Simple Green when I get done, and then I'll coat it, clean it down with WD-40, and then clean that off, maybe a little acetone, then paste wax. Sure. Okay, this chuck on here is press fit. And what they want you to do here to put that on, a little dusty here, put a block of wood under it. Well, to me that'll get it started, but having dealt with drill presses before, I have a better way. Run this here all the way up. Lock that down. Put the block of wood in here. Yeah, now out of the way. That'll keep it on there good and tight. I've done this before with Morse taper chucks. If you need to take it off, you have to use a ball joint fork in here and drive that in, and it'll pop that taper loose. Don't try to get in there and pry something from one side or the other, because it won't work. You actually need to use a fork in there. Otherwise, let me loosen this back up again. Lower this down. This part here works very smooth. And I don't see a whole bunch of wobble. Well, it's sitting on a piece of plywood, but I don't see a whole bunch of wobble here like I did on that other cheap 20-year-old one, 22-year-old one. This is a little, like I said, it's a little wobbly because it's sitting on a piece of plywood. I don't want to scratch my table surface here on the non-steel side. I'm going to get this cleaned up. I did check the angle of this compared to the angle of this, and it's within 0.01, so I'm happy with that. There is an adjustment under here to tilt the table, and there's a little degree marker around here for tilting it, but I would still use one of these for that little Wixie digital angle gauge. I use it on my saws and everything all the time. Okay, I'm going to get some more of the rest of this set up and cleaned up, and then we'll give it a test run. Okay, here's something, it's about the pulley alignment, and I'm really surprised I didn't do this at the factory. This pulley right here needs to be on the same plane as the part right here. As I put this on, there's a good quarter inch of difference there. And this is in the manual. They tell you you're going to need to loosen the motor mounts up and move this up and down. I was surprised I didn't do something at the factory, but looks like this could be a fun project, trying to loosen these bolts and hold this up at the same time. And hold the square, and I'm out here by myself, so this could be real interesting. And they tell you to use a 13mm wrench, and it's not a 13. That would be a 14. And 13 on this side. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to loosen them up a little more. Okay, that's one of the things that looks good on paper. There we go. I'm going to figure out how to get this, hold that up there and tighten it up at the same time. It could be interesting. If I can get one snugged up, maybe it'll hold it. So it'd be nice to have a second person. Yeah, that figures. So ambidextrous I am here. Double check here. There we go. Now I gotta find out if I'm this way or not. Zero that. Of course the pulley's aluminum, so this won't stick to it. Raise the other side up a little bit. Ooh, right on, right there. Now, if nothing moves while I'm doing this, excellent. I can buy that. There's a speed chart up here about what speed you want for where you set your pulleys on which sheave you're using. Of course, you'll always want to keep them aligned. You don't want to try to skip over ones and run the belt at an angle. You always want to have it running straight. Like I said, I'm really surprised I didn't get this a little closer at the factory. I think they just slapped the motor on and said, well, we'll put something in the book to make the guy that's doing it at home figure it out. Next thing we need to do is set the belt tension. You loosen there's one of these here knobs on each side, and that moves in and out. It's something a little better than that. There we go. Trying to hold it with your hand just doesn't work. Let's tighten these thumb screws down. Leave it at a medium speed right there for now. Okay, it looks good. Now we'll get some things cleaned up here and we'll give this thing a test run. Okay, the next thing I'm checking for here is if the spindle is square with the table. And I've got that's a brand new not made in China drill bit. That's a good Hansen bit in there. This is a machinist square, so we're good there, we're good there. The next thing to check is spindle play. Get this moved. Rotate this all the way down. Obviously we got a little bit too much play in there. That's quite a bit. To adjust that, you loosen this nut and you turn this screw in a little bit. It looks to be about a 14 millimeter. Well, considering that wasn't really tight. Then, yeah, a screwdriver. You don't want to get it so tight though that you can't turn your there's always going to be a little bit of play even on a real high-end drill press. Now a little bit too tight. Very little play in there now, so I'll buy that. Not really any at all up there. Double check for my square again here. And it looks good. So next I'll get it powered up and we'll do a couple little test holes. Okay, a couple little features of this is it has a little work light here. It has a switch on the side. Get something dark in here so you can see it. So you can move that around to illuminate what you're doing, which when you're old like me, that really helps. Another thing it has is this little laser that they advertise on the box. Hopefully the camera will show that little red X there. Turn this off. Hopefully you can see that it's right here, and as you bring the bit down, it will hit that point. So that's kind of a nice little feature. Obviously I don't want to drill a hole in this. That's one of my templates I use for table legs. But let me get something else here. Let's get a little scrap of wood here, and oh, that X shows up pretty good on that too. Yep, drills holes, just like it's supposed to. I'll put it to the test a little later on. One of my reasons for upgrading here was a project I'm working on. So let me get the camera straightened around and we'll talk about this a little bit. Okay, so overall my first impression of this is for $129.95 you're getting your money's worth. A couple little things are in assembly. Of course, anytime you get anything that's mass produced in China, it seems you got to do a little fudging around with it. But overall, I think for the money, the tolerances are close enough. Like I said, I'm not doing precision machining with this. Mostly be used in woodworking, possibly a little bit of metal work with some things I do. once again, if I need precision, I'll go next door, or I'll go to my son-in-law's shop and use his lathe and everything, all the neat stuff he's got over there. But yeah, I think it's worth the money. So thanks for watching, and of course comments are always welcome. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.